What is going on, my friends, and welcome back to another video on the channel. Well, in today's video, we are going over Solana as it has now seen the official breakout to the upside that we talked about just in yesterday's video. Less than 24 hours ago, we talked about this breakout, and now here we are. So what we're going to talk about today is if we should or should not be buying, if there's any good buying points that are in the foreseeable future, and how I personally would be playing this if I was trying to increase my position or start a new position. So of course, let's go ahead and let's get into it. Well, I'll go ahead and first start off with saying that I'm not going to be doing any mass accumulating on Solana. Personally speaking, my last position increase was in October 1st, and that was about 2 months ago now at $146. And so with such a good average cost at this point, I'm honestly pretty okay just where I'm at. You know, we're up on that one well above 50 to 60%. So I'm not going to be doing any mass accumulating, but I do believe that there are some good buying points still available coming up here. So first and foremost, what we need to see from Solana is the clearing of our green box. You guys know I love the green boxes here. So the way in which we found it, of course, is taking our Fibonacci's and drawing it from our November 6th all-time high down to the low in which we put in on November 28th. That's going to give you this zone, which is your 618 to 786 zone, okay? Now what we're going to do is we're going to look at that as the door for Solana to hit some new all-time highs. That is the door that once we clear it, there is an incredibly strong likelihood of us working our way back up to, who knows, I mean, possibly even towards $400 to $500. You can never really know the exact area, but some pretty substantial gains, right? So if we're able to clear this most recent local high down to swing low Fibonacci 786 level, again, that's what sets us free to start to work our way back to the top side. So realistically, we can see that this is where we're finding some immediate resistance. If you see here, we broke out and we came immediately to the green box, but we're unable to clear it. And then we are seeing a little bit of a pullback here, okay? So this goes to show and, you know, relatively confirm that this is going to be one of those key levels. Now, another reason we can confirm that this is going to be one of those key levels is looking at our VPVR. As you can see, the 618 to 786 zone is also going to be highlighted by our last two peaks in the VPVR, meaning that these two levels right here, we're going to say $240 to $228. Those are going to be the two most, you know, the highest amount of volume that we're going to see at any of the levels from now to our all-time high. And so we need to clear this door. Once we get through it, boom, blue skies ahead. Now, I will go ahead and say that if we do clear that zone, I think that could serve as a fantastic buying entry. Now, we need to be careful, of course, because we do have something of a W bottom here. So once we do break through, you know, there is a likelihood of us coming back down to backtest this area as we do all the time. But I still do believe that this area would hold, you know, this 230 area would hold, and that would allow us to start to continue back up to the top side. So if you are looking for an immediate, you know, a very immediate buying point, I would be looking and waiting to see if we get above $241. The reason I'd be waiting is because we are still in the possibility of seeing some type of inverse head and shoulders play out in which we roll off of this $230 to $235 zone, create this right shoulder here, and then we start to look for the breakout. So buying right now wouldn't make the most sense to me personally, as there is still the risk of that rollover. I would again be looking for that clearing of $240 on the 4-hour charts and getting closes up there. Now, one thing you have to consider, okay, if you think that's a little bit of a risky one thing you also have to consider is that we do have this zone of resistance and support that has been uptrending for the last, 3 to 4 months now. So realistically, even if we do get above 240, I think we could make a run all the way, of 10 to 20% up into this blue line, but I do believe we will run into resistance at this area that could still very well push the price down. So realistically, right, when it comes to buying points, it's going to be much harder to be buying now than it is, looking back in hindsight. But there are still buying entries. We just have to be aware that there are still a lot of levels of resistance above us before we can just say it goes immediately to $500. So realistically, what I would be doing is looking at this thing in the sense of, okay, I'll do some minor adjustments. I'll do some minor accumulating, maybe just increasing my position just here, here a little bit, picking it up as it breaks some of these key levels, such as right here, but not necessarily aping in on the big runs, because likelihood is we do run into resistance before continuing to the top side. So the 2 points in which I would personally be looking to get an entry would be around $241, and then the second one would be if we're able to clear this upward sloping level of resistance, which of course doesn't have a necessarily exact number, of course, since it is upward sloping. So with that being said, those are the two levels that I'm looking for personally. I do believe that we're going to start to make this move, even if we do see the roll here and we go put in this left, we have this, of course, left shoulder, head, and right shoulder. Even if this does happen, I still do believe once we clear 240, it's blue skies ahead. And so that's why I'm still going to go ahead and say that I'm waiting for this clearing, even if the price does roll over a little bit. Now, overall, I do believe that we're going to see this happen. Looking at something like the MACD, on the 4-hour charts, we're looking absolutely fine. No convergence, nothing really too scary happening here. And then if we do go out to the daily charts, a very similar picture is being painted, in which we are looking to see this cross happening probably within the next day or two. Okay, it's absolutely phenomenal. We're starting to see this blue EMA work its way up, gonna work its way through that orange EMA if we get maybe another 24 hours of green, and that'll be a phenomenal boost of confidence and momentum to say that we are working our way back to where we need to be. So overall, Solana is looking absolutely amazing. Everything does seem to be moving very healthily. Even this run we're in right now has been moving healthy in relation to the RSI. You can see here that on our RSI, we were setting some equal highs. So we have this high and we're at an equal high at the moment. And on the price, we had this high and an equal high. And that just goes to show there's no divergence. There's no bearish divergence, even though we are seeing a big green candle, which is a good sign that we can continue this move to the upside. So overall, that's all I'm looking for right now. Do we get above 240? That's buying point number one for me. Do we get above the trend line and work our way back into the support and resistance channel? That's buy zone number two for me. And I am being very aware that we could see the roll here to set in this inverse head and shoulders. But overall, one way or another, it does seem extremely healthy for Solana right now, and bullish momentum does seem to be back. So my overall assumption is that we are going to see some green for Solana over the next couple, weeks, maybe even the next month. So I'm very, very excited about that. So with that being said, of course, if you guys did enjoy today's little short, sweet, and simple, straight to the point video, all you got to do to let me know is smash that like button so even more people get to see this video, and it helps me out more than you realize. And I'll see you all very soon. Peace.